This motorcycle is quite the hot topic right now. Is all the controversy worth the hype? Let's talk about it. This is the all-new Yamaha MT09 Y-AMT. Yes, you heard that correct, Y-AMT. A complete new semi-automatic gearing system. That's directly what is so controversial about this motorcycle, because the MT09 has been on the market for quite a few years already, yet that Y-AMT system is completely new and it's giving the talk of the town. So what is the Y-AMT system exactly? Like I said, it's a semi-automatic gearing system. It can be switched between fully automatic and manual transmission. I'm putting manual transmission between fingers there because it's not like your usual manual transmission. You might have already noticed it, but this motorcycle is missing a gear lever and also a foot pedal. That is because in a manual transmission of this motorcycle, you do all the switching gears with your hands. Yes, your index finger to be exact. You can switch up and you can switch down without any issues. Or at least that's what Yamaha says. A little bit of the specs of the MT09 Y-AMT, but not about the MT09 itself. MT09 has been on the market for quite a few years already. I'm just gonna focus mostly on the Y-AMT system, and yeah, let's go over to that. You of course have the automatic transmission and the manual transmission, which can be switched between on your right hand handlebar. Very easy to switch between. In the automatic transmission mode, you have two different modes, which is very easy: D or D+. D is for a little bit laid back, easy riding. D+ is a little bit more sporty and will shift in higher RPMs. Then the manual transmission has 5 modes, of which 2 are custom modes, which you can modify to your own liking. And then you also have street, sport and rain. The switching gears is done with a automatic shifting assist on the motorcycle, which will fully choose when it has to shift. Like I said, you're missing a clutch lever, but that does not mean that you will have any issues when coming to a stop. When you come to a full stop, the motorcycle will notice it itself and it will pull in the clutch for you, even when you are in the MT mode. The Yamaha Y-AMT also has a keyless go, just like with the MT09 SP, which means you do have to keep your key with you in your pocket nearby. And when your bike has a little thirst and you have to go for a fuel break, you have about approximately 1 minute after you turned off the motorcycle to open the tank. It also comes in the complete same colors as the MT09. The motorcycle is available for A2 and A license. It itself has 70 kilowatts and you can get a kit that lowers it to 35 kilowatts. All right, that's enough about the specs and the literal explanation of this motorcycle. Let's go over to my own findings. What did I think of the Y-AMT system on this MT09? Firstly, when I picked it up at Yamaha itself, I got a full bookwork of information and explanation from them, which I very much appreciated. They told me that it would take approximately 2 hours to get used to the system. And I was like, yeah, let's see about that, as I knew that my ride home of approximately 2 hours was mostly highways. But I deliberately chose to also take a little bit of an off-highway route to really test out the Y-AMT system and see if I would get used to it quickly. And no, I did not. It is just very different from what you're used to if you're someone who normally rides a regular motorcycle with a regular shifting system. I noticed that I was quite often trying to grab the clutch lever or trying to place my foot underneath the foot lever to shift up, and then, oh, right, I have to switch. The system works effortlessly. It's very smooth and it doesn't give a very Yankee feel when you're shifting gears. If anything, it's quite the same as shifting with a quick shifter, because you don't have to put in the lever. And it's very fast and it's very fun as well. I had quite a bit of fun when I got used to it. All right, that's for the manual, the MT mode. Let's now go over to the automatic mode, especially how it shifts in automatic. In automatic, it's just the same as shifting with the manual mode, but you don't have to do anything. The system decides for you when it shifts gear. This can be a little bit tricky and needs a little bit getting used to, especially because it sometimes does decide to shift gears in the middle of a corner. And it's not that it's very unstable when it does that. It's not that that's super scary or anything. It can just give you a little bit of a surprise sometimes. I think that's the right word for it. What I like about this new Y-AMT system is that it opens up motorcycles to a whole new market. Motorcyclists that normally wouldn't be able to ride motorcycles because of a disability on their left leg, or maybe because they just don't know how to ride with a manual system, now can also enjoy riding motorcycles. I am all for everyone being able to enjoy motorcycles if they want to, and it is not crazy dangerous. Unfortunately, of course, there are also some cons for me, and this has mostly to do with personal preference. First of all, of course, is that you don't shift with your foot. Personally, I think they just want to be something different, and they want to bring something different on the market, which has nothing wrong, of course. But personally, for me, I like shifting with my foot and also having the option to pull in a clutch. Another con, and this one is a little bit dumb, I think. It's sad that I can no longer do rev bombs while I'm riding. Of course, you can do it when you're in standstill. So when you're riding past some kids and they're like on their bikes, which we have a lot here in the Netherlands in suburban areas. Usually if I want to make some little kids happy that want to hear some sound, I pull in my clutch and I rev a few times. Also a con of the system is that it just needs some time to get used to. These motorcycles are already available at your local dealer to test out, at least here in the Netherlands. And when you're going to test out a motorcycle, usually they say, take about 1 hour, have fun with it and test it out. But with this motorcycle, with the whole new system, 1 hour simply is not enough. But when you're used to it, it works perfectly fine and it's a lot of fun, of course. Another con is the big gap between the gear shifter at your index finger and the indicator button at your thumb. This will not be a problem for a man with big hands, but for us ladies with a little bit smaller hands, it might be a little bit too far off from each other. Now, of course, you do not usually switch gears at the same time as you're trying to use your indicator button, but the gap between the buttons is just large, and I by all means don't have very small women hands, but I already had some issues to operate both the buttons at the same time. And speaking of buttons, it has quite a few. There's a lot of buttons on this motorcycle. Of course, there are so many systems on here, but altogether it's just so much buttons, especially on the left hand side of the handlebars. It can be a little bit overwhelming, and I found a lot of times that I was pushing the wrong buttons. Do have to add there that of course I am still getting used to this system. I have now ridden it a couple of hours. Yeah, that's a little bit awkward. Also, I think riding a Y-AMT does not make you less of a motorcycle rider, because you do not have two little bits on a motorcycle that you would normally have on a motorcycle itself. Does not make you less of a rider. I think that this system is very cool, especially for those who need it, and especially if you want it yourself. Big pro of this system is that it will bring more riders to the market, and I think that everyone should be able to ride a motorcycle. So I would say go see if you can try it out for a couple of hours at least, and see what your own thoughts on the system are. I'm very curious to hear what you think. Have a great day, Bike FM. Ride safe, love you, bye! Sustainable Y-AMT, sustainable Y-AMT. Yeah, resume.